Welcome to That's Life. I'm Marcia Boyles, and I'd like to introduce, as always, my co-host and co-producer, Kathleen Taylor, our social work manager.
Hi.
Hi, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to That's Life 2017.
Gosh,
wow.
This is our third year
Yeah, I can't
doing
believe it.
That's Life.
Yeah.
We should explain what the objective for That's Life is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we might have new listeners out there.
may.
But how we started out, our plan starting out was just to give the residents an idea of, I think people were not sure what they would go to a social worker for. And what that would be like if they went to a social worker.
Many folks still don't know.
I think in spite of our 3 years of That's Life, but really, just getting people a comfort level with, you don't have to, have a specific problem when you come. We're really here as a touchstone at some level. Just check in with us, and if there's something that comes up, then we'll help you sort it out.
Well, I think the other thing that has happened is that we have presented some sort of interesting resident issues.
We have. I think we've some common threads that we find with residents, some common concerns that people have,
And some that are not so common.
and some that are not so, and some that are kind of
Off the wall.
off the
even.
wall.
I would go that far.
Yeah, pansy.
Pansy with her alligator and flamingos.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. So anyhow, that was the reason to get the program started, and I think we have had some really great characters. Our resident actors
Our role
have been
players
exceptional.
have been marvelous.
Yeah,
And we should tell folks probably that we don't script these.
right.
This is all improv.
Yep.
We do a little practicing ahead of time, but nothing is scripted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have had fun with it.
I had great fun.
I think the residents have had fun. I think our viewers have had fun with it.
I do too.
So,
Yep.
we've enjoyed doing it. Well, we'll stop now. We have 3 vignettes today, and so I think we'll stop and roll the vignettes.
Hello. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. So I'm Elena. You may know I'm one of the new social workers here, and I've been told that you two are the newcomer gurus. I have a lot of new residents in my communities and was hoping to get some information on what is available to residents here at Greenspring. And so I've heard that Marcia and Eloise are the people to talk to. So I'm hoping you can give me some information.
Well, we'd be glad to.
Absolutely.
Would you like me to start?
Yes,
Eloise?
please do.
Okay. I am in charge of the walking tours, which occur every Saturday from 11 to about 12 o'clock, about an hour long. They start in the Village Square lobby. The walking tour guides are a group of residents that have agreed to do this. Now, I should also say that the walking tours, while they're primarily designed for newcomers, and newcomers, I think, really do appreciate being shown where things are.
I bet.
Anybody who is a resident at Greenspring is welcome to come.
Okay.
So folks that have been here for, a number of months or even a number of years sometimes, we have coming. These are indoor walking tours. We usually just have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people on the tour, so we can really design it to meet the needs of the folks taking the tour. So
Wonderful.
if somebody wants to see the theater particularly, or treasure chest, or now we always point out the medical center and the general sorts of things, but some folks want to see the woodworking shop.
Sure,
or,
yeah.
some such things.
Great.
So anyway, we're perfectly willing to accommodate whatever folks would like. So we welcome people 11 o'clock every Saturday.
Very good.
And you always say that wheelchairs and walkers are welcome, that you can adapt the.
Thank you, Eloise, for that's absolutely right. And we can certainly adopt the pace too. If folks are not fast walkers, don't worry about it. And if you use a rollator or cane or a chair, that's fine.
Great.
Thanks for remembering that.
Good, good.
And I am one of the hosts of the Newcomers Lunch, which is held every Wednesday at noon in Woodland Skies. It's a wonderful group. It's a great way to meet new people. For newcomers, we became almost too successful. To give you a little history, Marcia actually started the group in 2012. Sue Thompson, Lorraine Cheney, and I were among the very first people who ever attended. If those of you who know Marcia will know, she then talked us into becoming the host. And we have been doing this now for about...
doing a spectacular job.
We've done it about 3.5 years now.
Wow. Okay, great.
The luncheon became almost too successful. People didn't want to leave. They came, they wanted to stay. We ended up with 18 to 20 people who were coming, who were not really newcomers. They had been there a while, but it became a very social, wonderful time. But it impeded the ability to really deal just with newcomers and their issues. And so we, very fortunately, one of the old-timer newcomers, June Franco, determined that they would have a lunch bunch. Now, anyone who has been in the newcomers group for longer than 6 months graduates from newcomers to the lunch bunch.
Okay,
and they also
great.
meet on Wednesdays, and we interchange. There are 3 hosts. We don't all sit with the newcomers all the time, depending upon how many there are.
Okay.
If there are too many, some of us sit with the people we've met earlier.
With the lunch bunch.
It's a great way to not only meet others, to solve problems, to discuss anything people might have. We have one newcomer who has now, she's only been here perhaps a month, 2 months probably, who has been to every floor in every building to see every shelf.
Wow.
She did it before Thanksgiving. She did it before Christmas. She's getting ready to start it again in the spring. I mean, we learn new things as well as the newcomers. So it's a very great group.
Sounds like a great group.
Well, Eloise, I think Eloise is being somewhat modest about another objective that I think you do extremely well, and that is just provide a lot of information. Newcomers just almost always have a huge number of questions.
Yeah.
What do I do, if my faucet is dripping?
Right.
To how do I get my car cleaned off? I mean, they're just, this is a complicated place to navigate, I think.
Yes, and even though they get their welcome packets, we provide, Sue Thompson and I alternate months and send special invitations to everyone who is new that month. We do it at the end of each month, inviting them to the newcomers. I also hand out information from the fitness center, Village Bridge, Greenspring Players, of course, walking tours. Anything that they might have an interest in. Introduce them to people who are bridge players and they want to learn how to play bridge or play bridge or whatever. So it really has been great.
Don't you normally ask them, what their special interests might be?
Absolutely.
And
other than emptying boxes.
Well, I need to take a break from emptying boxes.
Exactly.
That's great.
But you steer them to the group or the person that's involved. And it takes, I think, an old timer to be able to give that kind of advice.
Definitely.
And what we don't know, we may not have every answer, but we know where to go to get that answer.
Sure, yeah. Well, and you've had similar experiences as residents here.
I've been here 4 years. And
so you're able to help new residents in that way, and in a way that I'm not. I'm happy to help direct people, but there's certain things I'm like, I don't know.
Well, just steer them to the walking tour if they're getting lost,
and the newcomers lunch.
To
Perfect.
meet other newcomers and to get
will.
information.
I definitely will. That's great. Thank you so much for coming in today. This has been really helpful.
We're glad to do it.
Yes.
And if we can provide any other information, let us know.
Thank you. I will, definitely.
Thank you, Elena.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, hello.
Hello, Elena.
How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good, good. So tell me, how did Thanksgiving go?
Well, it wasn't quite what I expected.
Uh-oh.
And of course, it was my first Thanksgiving in this country
Okay.
since I'm not from here and
Right,
haven't been here that long.
Yeah.
So my son came to pick me up at Greenspring as arranged, and we went out to where he lives out there in Ashburn. And it was nice. We had a couple of drinks and we watched the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And then we were invited to the table, and we went in the dining room. And there the turkey was on the table, and on the table also was the dog. And he was having a go at the turkey.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so there was consternation, and the turkey got taken off the table and into the kitchen, and my daughter-in-law did what she could to remedy whatever had been done to the turkey, because he was really going for it. And so eventually the revived turkey was brought back to the table. But really, nobody felt much like eating any of it.
I don't
But
blame
we
you.
had very delicious vegetables, and the dressing and the cranberry sauce and the gravy.
Okay.
And then we had very delicious pumpkin pie.
Excellent.
I'd never had that before.
Oh, what did you think?
Oh, it was pretty tasty. It was good.
Good.
Yeah, we had ice cream with it,
Okay.
and then we had some coffee.
Great.
And what really threw me was that my two grandchildren, they both had their phones at the table, their special iPhone things.
Oh, no.
And in the middle of the meal, my granddaughter's iPhone rang, and so she answered it. And that kind of threw me. So she
Yeah.
had a little conversation with some friend, and then we went back to eating. Or we'd been eating all the time, but she obviously hadn't.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that they even brought them to the table. But it seems that kids these days have these contraptions all the time. So then we.
Yeah, on a special family dinner, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
necessarily expect
So I
that.
was a bit
That's-
shocked.
Yeah,
But
very understandable.
yeah, but I'm just getting used to all this, you know. So we went back into the living room, and later in the afternoon, they turned on the football game.
Uh-oh.
And I had hoped that my grandson would be able to explain to me about American football, because I truly do not understand it. Seems every time somebody blows a whistle, the game totally stops. So, but he was into it, you know.
Oh,
and it
what
wasn't going
didn't
well
give you
for the
that?
team that they were rooting for.
Were they rooting for the Redskins?
I guess they were, yes.
Yeah.
So I just
Well.
shut up and watched as best I could.
Oh, yeah.
And tried to make some sense out of it all. And
But
some of
it's-
it was fun, you know, the cheerleaders were good to look at, and it was all right.
But it's difficult if you don't understand what's going on. And
Well, the sports section of the newspaper is pretty much beyond me. It's the first part of the paper that I discard.
Okay.
And I do watch some British soccer. It's on Saturdays around noontime, and I
Okay.
enjoy seeing teams
Yeah.
like Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspurs.
yeah.
But I'm not really much of a fan
American.
of football in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get some nice family time, or it sounds like
Not really.
No, not really.
No, it's
Yeah.
disappointing.
That is disappointing. That
Yeah.
is disappointing.
So when the game was over, everybody was pretty upset, except me, which didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so it was dark by that time. So my son brought me back to Greenspring.
Oh.
And for Christmas, they were all going down to Alabama to spend Christmas with my daughter-in-law's parents.
Okay.
So I had a good time at Greenspring.
Oh, wonderful.
And that was fun.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it was very
good.
nice.
So have you
Friends
had
and
a
family.
chance to see your son since Thanksgiving, or have
No,
you had
not
some
really. No, he's been busy and the weather's
Okay.
been bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I'll
yeah.
see him some other time. And I'm getting used to living here too.
Great.
So
great.
I'm not getting carry-out dinners anymore. I'm going up to the dining room, and that's good.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, and maybe you invite your son here for a meal or brunch, or
I probably will
you
sometime.
can show off your community
Yes.
and your-
invite the whole family and the grandchildren as well.
Yeah, that would be great. That
Let's
would
hope
give.
they'd let's hope they'd come. At least they could bring their phones with them, I suppose.
Could tell him there's a no phone rule in the dining room or
Ah,
something.
yes,
You know.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that might be a great idea to give you an opportunity to see them, and they can see how well you're doing here.
Yes,
and,
right. So it was good to be over there. It was good to be with them. But all in all, it was a disappointment.
I'm so sorry.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you had high hopes for your first Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I'm sorry
well,
that didn't
maybe my grandson
through.
can explain to me American football some other time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on Thanksgiving, obviously. It's
That's
not like
true.
your regular run-of-the-mill day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came in, and I'm sorry your first Thanksgiving didn't go as you planned, but it was so good to see you, and I'll see you again soon.
Well, thank you very much.
My
It's always a
pleasure.
pleasure to see you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Hi, Cecilia. Good to see you again.
Oh, well, thank
As
you.
always.
Well, I feel like I'm here too much of the time, but I seem to keep coming up with problems, so kind of problems. But right now, I have a new neighbor over me, and they evidently have put down hardwood floors. And this man at 6 o'clock in the morning starts using his rowing machine every morning at 6 o'clock. And it's very loud. It's right over my head.
Uh-oh.
And I have spoken to him, but he's not going to change his routine.
His routine, yeah.
So I don't know what to do next. You know, I've spoken to him, and what is there?
I know, these are hard problems for sure. Noise issues are always difficult to try to get remedied. And since he just didn't want to take your concerns.
No, he just, this was his routine. He's been doing it for 15 years, and he's not going to stop now.
Yeah.
I thought that there had to be, well, that hardwood had to be covered in some fashion in other apartment buildings, I know, but since we've started with hardwood, I don't think there's any restriction.
Yeah, I don't believe there's restrictions either. I mean, I think what we're going to be looking for is some kind of, you know, kind of maybe getting some padding under the rowing machine or
That
something
could
like
certainly
that.
help.
They certainly do have those pads. I've seen them before that just kind of cushion the equipment. So, I mean, it might be something I could have the social worker, one of the social workers or myself to follow up with and just give him that information and see if we can help him understand that it is really concerning to you and it's affecting your health and you know, getting in the way of you being able to sleep and that sort of thing. That's about the best thing that we can do, is hope that we can have a conversation with him and just encourage him to do the right thing and give him some options, to give him some possible things that he can do. And a pad is an easy thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think he has another piece of equipment. I'm not sure, but it seems to go on a long time, and I don't know whether that's a treadmill or what it is.
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't
know the
know.
rowing machine, I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once we get in there, we'll just be able to see what's going on and give him some suggestions. I think sometimes when people first move into an apartment setting, when they've been out in their own home, I think they don't quite understand the impact that they're having on other people.
Yeah, community life is a whole lot different
It's
than
very
being
different.
in one's home.
It's very different. Yeah.
Well, he does have a second bedroom, so you know.
That could be
so maybe he
yeah.
could move it there, but
Yeah.
maybe if someone spoke to him, he would be more amenable to suggestions.
Sure. I mean, I think that we can just come at it from the angle that this is community living and we want to make sure that everybody is as happy as possible. And we don't want to stop him from doing his exercise routine, but if there's some suggestions that we can make that are going to buffer the sound, then that's exactly
Or
what
if
we're
he
going
did
to want
it
to
later
do.
in the day.
Yeah.
But the sound would be better probably, as you say, with something under it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll just want to give him some options and see what he's willing to do and go from there. Hopefully, you know, he'll take one of the suggestions and be willing to do it. And like you said, you can switch He could
He could.
possibly switch bedrooms. You could possibly switch bedrooms if it came to that. But I mean, we want to start at the lowest
Yes.
level, you know, in terms of how much effort it's going to take for this problem to be solved.
I would
So-
think just putting something under it could
Yeah.
certainly help a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So let us do that. We'll
right.
contact him and give him let him know that this is a problem.
Well, I kind of did, but
Right. Well, it's a bigger problem than he might have wanted to hear.
yes.
You know, that it's not something that you're gonna forget, that it's important to you that it get resolved. So at least he understands the level of concern, and that also he understands that we'll be involved in helping to resolve the problem too.
Yeah, well,
So-
that could be a big factor.
Well, I hope
for
so.
him.
And I think again, I just really think people are not intentionally doing things that are gonna bother people's lives, but they just
It probably never occurred to him.
doesn't
really.
doesn't think about it at all. You know, he's used to the sound, whatever that is. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let me do that, and
All
let's see
right.
what happens after that.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Let me know. All right, I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh, all right.
And then we'll move forward from there.
Hopefully that'll be the end of it.
Hopefully that will be it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. See you later.
Welcome back. Well, I would say this time that we had a theme of newcomers.
Yay!
And as we were discussing, this is the first time I identified the theme. This has always been your
I
role.
know, you beat me to the punch.
Oh, gosh.
I don't think I would have seen that, so good for you.
Yeah, and I think this is it's appropriate that we talk a little bit about the impact of both Greenspring on newcomers and newcomers on Greenspring.
Yeah. Coming in to the community is hard.
What is the hardest, do you think? Just learning to live in a community this close?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a major stressor, because it's just, you've probably come from a single family home, more than likely. And so, you know, as we were talking about with Cecilia, the idea that, you know, what you wanted to do during your day would have a negative impact on some stranger who's now going to come to your door, knock on it, and tell you that you needed to stop doing that.
Something you've been doing maybe for all your life
Ever.
or years.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, that's hard. It's hard. And I think people, you know, I think they haven't thought about it, and then when that person who they don't know comes in, you know, it might be one thing if it's your wife that's telling you that she's waking up because you're doing it. It's different than having some stranger. So there's just a lot of dynamics that people have to start to take into consideration that they hadn't had to do for probably a really long time.
Well, this is a fairly complex community, in not just in terms of socialization and neighbors, but also in terms of navigating it.
Yeah, it's logistically complex.
The whole situation.
Yeah, trying to get around.
Do we provide enough, do you think, assistance to folks? Or do people have I mean, clearly people manage.
Yeah. I mean, I think we always feel like we probably could do better. But I mean, the things that you're doing with the walking tour and with the
lunches.
Newcomers luncheons, I think those have really contributed significantly. Like the luncheons have been going on for almost 4 years, and then the walking tours for
Off and on for 5 years.
Yeah, but I think that those are amazing. And again, I think these things sort of serve dual purposes. You have the how things are helping people solve problems, how to get around, you know, the practicalities of living here. But then there's just the social aspect that you're then, which is really the most important thing always, is just making friends and finding out that, you know, you can call somebody if you have a need.
We should also probably mention Linda Martz's Welcome Committee, which has done a fine job over the years.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I know that's been a help.
Yeah. So there are lots of good things happening. I mean, we definitely can always be thinking creatively about how to make things more welcoming for our newcomers. But it's I think there's a lot of things going on for sure.
Yes, and I think probably more than when some of us came, truthfully. So, well, I think this was an interesting program today. This is the first time we have in any of our That's Life's programs focused on newcomers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I think with that, then, we will close up, and we'll hope to see you next month.